Hello everyone, this is Ming Zhong. Welcome to today's market analysis for the S&P 500 E-mini futures. That's for the session of 8th of July. So in this video, I am going to show you the market recap on the last session, plus 3 trade reviews that I did in the M3 time frame, which I will cover the entry, exits, and the rationale behind. And going forward, I will cover the bias, the key levels to pay attention to, and also the potential setup for the session later. Alright, so let's just get started. As we can see in this daily chart for the S&P 500, yesterday was a bearish day. We see the volume increase a little bit here compared to the past 1 or 2 trading session. You can see that there's a bit of the supply come in. It will be a lot clearer in the H1 time frame, but for now, this is the daily time frame. You can also see that this is the increasing of the supply, and together with some kind of the bearish results, right after it actually interact with the swing high level at about, I think this is about 3156. So I mean, this could be a potential uptrust, but we'll just need to wait for more clues to show up. Alright, so let me get down to the H1 time frame, and it will be a lot clearer in terms of the supply level. Okay, here we are. So this is the H1 time frame. You can see that during the European session here, we have a kind of like a sell down, some kind of a reaction, and that's during the Asian session. We have a very big bar, sell-off bar, and then followed by this kind of the reaction, which actually tested this support level at 3140, which I did mention in my video yesterday. 3140 is quite a nice level to watch because it is a swing high level. The resistance turns support, and together with this breakout bar as well. So it could be just a test of this breakout bar. But anyway, subsequently you can see that just prior to the US opening, right after it actually touched this 3140, it actually reversed and go up a little bit. And at the US opening session, 9:30 my time here, you can see that we have 2 big bullish bar here. So actually rally up a bit, but just tested this previous day high, which I mark up in the orange line here. So immediately we see some kind of the rejection, and then followed by another sell off here. And one thing worth to note is we have seen picking up of the supply level if you compare it to the past trading session, especially in these few hours. So definitely there is some kind of the increasing of the supply on these few bars, and definitely on the last hour bar we see that pick up in the supply level here, and definitely is the result as well, just right below this support level at 3140. You can see that we have some kind of the commitment to close below. All right, so this is some kind of the bearish character, but I do find that there are some other bullish character as well, especially after today's move in the Asian session together with the European London session, which is still unfolding right now. Because when you look at this structure here, although we could have some kind of the uptrust action here followed by reaction, and during the US session yesterday we see some kind of a rejection and eventually followed by a sell-off, but you see that the commitment to the downside or the progress to the downside is not that significant. So firstly we have this kind of the uptrust action here, and then this is the progression to the downside. We have a little bit here, and subsequently is show a little bit here as well. But if you take into account the action today, so this is even smaller. So we have a shortening of the downward thrust here together with the down wave also get shortened. So this is one of the bullish character, which is still unfolding. But I think in order for the bullish scenario to be valid, definitely there are some kind of the confirmation which I will need to seek, which I will elaborate more in the later part of the video. But for now, let me get down to the M3 time frame for the trade reviews. There are in total 3 trade reviews, which is a bit too many for me. So I just need to cover them here. So the first trade that I initiated is right at the Asian session. I think it's around 9 o'clock my time here. So pretty much is the opening in the Malaysia and Singapore market. You can see that just prior to that, this is the close of the previous US session. And right after that, we see some kind of a reaction, and then followed by up move, reaction, up move, reaction, up move. So what do we see here? Definitely is a very clear shortening of the up wave, because let me delete this. So this is the up wave, up wave, up wave again. So we see that the up wave is getting shorter, and definitely is the upward thrust as well. So this is the thrust to the upside, I mean the progress to the upside, and eventually we see a little bit of the final push here. And another thing you can look from different perspective is definitely this kind of the rising wedge is bearish in nature, but the fundamental or the first principle behind the rising bearish wedge is definitely the shortening of the thrust together with the up wave. All right, so this actually align with this setup, because look at level here, 3180. So this is okay, a resistance level which I previously talked about. This is an axis line acted as a resistance level, and we have the shortening of the thrust and the up wave, and together with this kind of the overbought here. So subsequently, this is my entry here. I have already circled in this golden circle here. So you can see that we have a localized breakdown here, and just right after the close of this bar, I just entered the short entry with the stop slightly above this candle here. Okay, so you can see that the short trade works out pretty nice and immediate. I think about 3 or 4 candles, I just closed the trade. So this is my exit here. So why did I close the trade? I think it's quite obvious, because I see the spike of the volume here. Let me get this. Okay, so this is the spike of the volume, and together with this kind of the climatic action, climatic sell-off, and we see that there is some kind of the demand tail. So just right after it reached there, I just exit my trade. And if you look at the previous location here, it's very close to the origin or the start of the trend here. So I think this is quite a logical place to exit my short position. And this trade works out nicely. I think it's kind of like more than 2 RR, the reward to risk ratio of around 2. Let me see that. Yeah, it's 2.1. So this is a nice trade for me, and it's a profitable trade. And the second trade actually happened in the afternoon. My time here is kind of like the European session, but this ended up to become a losing trade. So why did I enter it here? So you can see that I have marked up my entry here. So this is my entry. Is kind of about 2:33 p.m. my time here. So first of all, if you recorded my video yesterday, I do talk about potential long trade or either short trade. So either sides can be traded. But first of all, let me zoom out a little bit. You can find some kind of the context here. So you see that we have this kind of the support level at 3157, and definitely this is the immediate swing low here, 31 I think 3155. So definitely we have some kind of the spring type action, and especially this bar here. Okay, let me highlight this. So this bar here actually initiated some kind of the breakdown, and you can see the spike of the volume as well. That suggests that a lot of people has given up their positions. I think whether it got stopped out or whether they just like to trade the breakout, then they just entered it here. So this is what I would like to see, because you can see that the subsequent action, actually we have a small rally up and followed by a horizontal reaction. So this is where I actually initiated the trade here, the long trade, just after this localized breakout at the close of the candle here. So what I actually anticipated was for the price to travel a bit more to at least until the swing high level here at probably 3167. But you can see that there wasn't a strong upside follow through. It did rally up a little bit here, but wasn't able to overcome this commitment down bar here. And subsequently we see that there is a pickup in the supply level, increasing of a supply level, and together with the bearish results. And this is where I actually exit my trade here, because it seems like it just can't really maintain the bias to the upside, and we see the volume picking up and together with the bearish results. So instead of waiting for a full -1 risk, -1 R, then definitely I exit earlier. Otherwise it could just definitely hit my stop loss here. So this end up to become a losing trade, definitely, but I think the loss is minimized to less than -1 R. It could be just maybe -0.6. Okay, so this is the second trade. And the third trade I initiated somewhere around here, about at 7:15 my time here. So in my video yesterday, I do talk about potential reversal if the 3140 could defend. So you can see that this is 3140, and we see that the price actually did rebounded a bit here, and also here as well. So I think 3140 so far, well, at that time was proven to be a good level, because we see some kind of the bounce up from this level. And at that time I just waited for more confirmation. Let me zoom in a little bit here. Okay, so you can see that we have a reaction down. So this is the down wave again, but at this point we see that it actually just kind of like consolidate a little bit here, and especially on this bit like the hammer bar here, together with the increasing of the volume, we see the breakdown of the 3140, and definitely it just closed above that. So actually trigger some kind of the maybe stop or breakout to the downside. People who like to short should probably enter it here, but eventually we see that it didn't really commit to the downside and close below. In fact, it just started the rally from here on. So this is the rally up, and actually break out from this downtrend line. But we see some kind of the rejection tail showed up here, and we see some kind of volume spike as well, such as the supply come in. And definitely this is the reaction, but I think so far this reaction looks quite nice and has the bullish character in it. And I just waited until we have some kind of the upside confirmation, which is this localized breakout bar here. So once it's actually breakout from this downtrend line, then out of this bar here I just enter a long entry here. But because you can see that's just probably around 1.5 hours away from the US opening, then Just right before the US Open, I exited partial of my trade, 50% of my trade of my positions, and I leave the rest of my positions, and eventually it's become a nice profitable trade. And the second batch, or the another 50% was exited here. So overall I think it's around reward to risk of 1.6. So this place is quite a nice place to take profit, because it's kind of like the swing high level. So this is where I actually enter the limit exit at this location here. Alright, so these were the 3 trade reviews that I did yesterday. And let me get down to the H1 time frame to talk about what's happening right now. Okay, so if you recorded in my video earlier on, I do talk about this could become a potential inflection point, and I do find some kind of the bullish character in this down move, because firstly you can see that we have the reaction down here. This is a second wave down, it's a third wave down, although it creates lower low all the way through, but the commitment to the downside or the progress to the downside is very little here. So I would say there is some kind of the shortening of the downward thrust, and if I want to draw that, then definitely you can see this is some kind of the wedge here, bullish wedge or the descending wedge. So in order for this bullish scenario to become valid, then definitely what I would like to see is actually some kind of the commitment to the upside. So I would like to see the great rally, the biggest rally that's ever seen, and also definitely is to commit above this last hour bar here. So you can see that this last hour bar is actually quite a significant bearish bar. So in order for the bullish character to become valid, definitely I would like to see some kind of the commitment above, and then maybe followed by a pullback and still committed above and to rally up further. So this is the bullish scenario, and if this happened, then definitely I think that could become a nice entry to trade the pullback somewhere around here at I think that's 3156, somewhere around there, which is in line with the previous swing high level. So if I record it here, so this is the swing high level, that's the 3156 level. Yep, so this is the level that I was talking about, 3156 or 57. But if there wasn't any quality demand, wasn't able to overcome this down significant bar, then we could probably see another pullback here, or have another test to probably cover this gap here. So this is another level to watch. It's around 31, maybe 3120. Let me see that. So this is 3116 or 3120. So it's somewhere around there. 3115 to 3120 could provide some kind of the support. So that could become another scenario, and if it is can bounce up from here, then that could become another long entry here. So we just need to see how it actually develop. So as long as it's still committed above 3100, then I think I'm still relatively bullish. So 3100 is quite a level to watch, because you can see that it actually interact quite a few times. I think it's quite an important level to watch at 3100. Alright, so talk about the bias, the key levels, and the potential setup. Basically it's just a trade around the key support or resistance level. And for the bias for today's day trading, it's kind of like neutral, because either upside or the downside can be traded. But overall, for the long-term bias is definitely still up, because I think we're still within this long-term uptrend and currently within this trading range.